Welcome to Shore Perspectives, a community feature of WESR Radio, highlighting the spirit of the shore from those who call it home.
Nancy Russell, and I live outside of Anancock. In June, I will be here 50 years. I was in school, and Mrs. Frazier, the French teacher, came to me and told me that WESR had an opening for a traffic secretary. I had no idea what a traffic secretary this job description was. And she said, you need to go and apply. So I called down here and got an appointment, and I met with Ruth Russell. And she hired me right on the spot. I guess she saw something in me that I really didn't know I had inside of me. But anyway, I started training, and that's how I became part of the WESR family. And my journey began. Everything was done by hand. The billing was typed on a typewriter. The logs were done by hand. I had this great big metal thing in front of me with 7 days. And when somebody bought advertising, I had these little tiny strips. If they bought 5 a day, I counted out, 5 of them and put them on Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then from there, I typed them. And then Ruth would check them out to make sure I had all the spots on there. And even today, when I generate a log on the computer, I still go through the logs to make sure everybody's got their commercial. So it has changed in some ways. In some ways, it's the same thing that I did 50 years ago. The Eastern Shore becomes part of your broadcasting family, and you connect to them. You become part of their family, and they become part of your family. And that makes a big difference. They'll call you for a question. They'll call you for you to help them. And sometimes they'll just call and say, will you pray for me or pray for somebody in my family? And that means a lot because they've grown to love you and you've grown to be a part of their family. And small market radio, mom and pop. I've had people to walk in the station and say, I'm homeless. I don't have any place to go tonight. So, I have a whole folder on that. And I can send them to the Samaritan House in Pocomoke, or one time they didn't have any vacancies, so I had to send her to Salisbury. There's a homeless shelter that will take everybody, men, women, and children, families. And so, I've done that. And whether it's caller number 10, what time does Swap Shop come on, or whether it's caller number 1, what time is Swap Shop today? Each caller is important. Another one was a lady that called me and told me she was getting ready to commit suicide. And I kept her talking on the phone and wrote Charlie a note what was going on. And the more she talked, the more we kind of realized who it was. And Charlie called a friend. And between the three of us, we figured out who she was. And the friend on the phone went to her house, and everything worked out. When you pick up the phone, you never know who's on the other side. The bank robber, that was an interesting story. I picked up the phone, and he said, I have just robbed a bank. And I know the teller who put the funny money in the bag. And Charlie was running to record the conversation, keep him talking. And he hung up on me, so we didn't get it recorded, but it would have been a fantastic news story, wouldn't it? Years ago, I got a call from a soldier in Afghanistan. I hope I don't cry over this. And he wanted to wish his mom a happy birthday. And I wrote it down, and he said, we're in Afghanistan, and we're sitting around the radio, and it sounds like home. And I got off the phone and I said, that's what small market radio is all about. They're hearing us in Afghanistan. Can you believe it? That's how far we've come. That's pretty memorable to me. I mean, we're just, a mom and pop store, mom and pop business that is stepping up to the plate to do whatever we can for the shore. I think when you hire someone and they go through the scrapbook, they get a sense of what we are here, our purpose here is. And I think that, it's good to have a history. It's good to know where you came from so you'll know where you're going. And Will's generation will take over, and hopefully that he will respect the past and continue the legacy that Brooks started. Well, when I started here, I really led a sheltered life. I really did. I didn't even have a Social Security number till I started working here. And Betty McDaniel was the morning announcer, and she was a great help to me. One of our morning announcers was Johnny Walker, and his son was a spy. He came in and he wanted me to make a phone call for him. So I did, and now the joke was, you helped a Russian spy. Yeah. Mike McCoy worked from like 9:30 to 12, and Betty came back on from 12 to 2, and then Mike came on from 2 until 6, and George Falk took the shift until midnight, and then we were off the air. And all of them brought something to the table. I mean, here I was 18, very naive, and so they all took me under their wing. And now when a young person comes in, I try to take them under my wing and it's payback, pass it forward, I guess you can say. We try to do all we can to help small businesses, and because it's not that many left on the shore, mom and pop stores, and that's the sad thing too. Yeah. And they're the ones who contribute to the community. Whenever a civic group is having a fundraiser, we announce that event on the air to help them out. Small businesses, we try to help them out however we can, and they in turn are the ones who return to the community. Because when you want something, it's the mom and pop stores that will donate. Really and truly, we shine when it comes to a nor'easter, a hurricane, a snowstorm. We step up to the plate, and we really do a great job covering the shore. One time we got in a snowbank and we could not get in, and we had to walk from like Nelson's Corner to Corner Mart. I didn't think we were going to make it. And when we got there, Charlie called Lee Johnson. He said, "Can you come and get us?" Because we were stuck. And Lee came and got us. We were off the air because we didn't make it in on time. But Lee brought us in. At the end of the day, when you put your head on the pillow, make sure you have no regrets. And that can stem from a conversation with an employee, or it can be a conversation with a listener or a business owner. Try to treat people the way that you want to be treated. And it's a lot of, it's enough problems working with other people. Then don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Some things you just let it slide. That's the way I look at it. And our listeners are good to us. I mean, I go to a lot of places and people say, "Oh, I just love Kelley in the morning. Her morning gold is so inspirational." So, there's different ways to be of service in the community. And that's just what we do. We do a lot of things around here that nobody realizes.
For Shore Perspectives and WESR Radio, I'm Kelley Gaskell.